the other great media of our generation, video games. So, hi, I'm Leo. You may know me, you may not. I haven't really made an especially huge effort to make myself known in this class. Actually, I don't know a couple of the freshmen in here, which is a little bit disheartening. So, we're going to talk about video games today. Let me take you back to a time far simpler. A boy's 6th birthday. My 6th birthday. From my parents. Oh, how do I do this?
Wait, back here.
Do it.
Are you hitting the arrow?
I am hitting the arrow.
Which one?
Hitting the forward
I think you're upside down.
Yeah, I am hitting. Oh,
Are you upside down?
no, I don't think so.
You want to hit the off
Try.
button.
This is, oh, it's off. That explains a lot.
The classic auto switch.
Okay, from my parents, a couple new books about science. From my friends, a couple new Nerf guns. And from my uncle, a small little box labeled Game Boy and a little green rectangle labeled Pokemon Leaf Green version. Plugged it in and was greeted with Professor Oak and a swarm of instructions, all of which I neglected to read, even in the coming years. In seconds, I was hooked on capturing and training my own Pokemon. Pokemon Leaf Green version was the first of many video games I played, and it began a long career of collecting and playing video games. I still have the cartridges from some of my Game Boy games that, at the time, I lacked the capacity to play correctly. I didn't know what moves my Bulbasaur knew, or how to use different attacks in Spyro, but I did know which ones did the most damage to the little green bar in the corner of my screen. And that's all I needed to know. Little did I know, this juvenile love of mine would grow into what would become a lifelong pastime. Here's a disappointing statistic. I've accumulated over 200 video games since my 6th birthday. I have games for almost every single system, including ones I don't own, such as Crazy Taxi for the Sega Dreamcast, provided by Trevor Steffen. So I guess you could say video games have been a huge part of my life. Now, what has this seemingly useless passion done to help the world and those around me? Well, the answer is fairly simple. Nothing. Video games is actually one of the least productive passions that I could have picked. Luckily, that's not what we're going to be talking about today. Instead, we're going to talk about how video games fostered a love for technology and an ever-growing knowledge base about all the details that go with it. So playing video games was fun when I was younger, and still is. I still play them a lot. But as time progressed, I slowly began to wonder about the code that made the game. As you can see right here, it's Minecraft. It's pretty cool. So it started out with discovering emulators, much like GBA for iOS, which I'm sure some of you have, where I could play any Game Boy game I wanted to play on the computer. Then it slowly progressed into learning how to make cheat codes. This is all hexadecimal. It's very confusing. Then it progressed into watching YouTube tutorials on how to create new cheat codes and how to make any battle I wanted appear in Mega Man right here. So then came an interest in making my own games, such as a terrible version of Frogger. I don't know if you can see, but there's a laser on there. That's the little Frogger right there. So with this and an interest in creating programs and other video games, I started to create a computer, which I still use to this day when I turned 12. The entire time, I thought I was doing what I loved, playing video games. But as time went on, I began to realize what I'd been doing the whole time was actually building a vast knowledge of what we come to use on a daily basis. Computers, cell phones, the internet, and technology as a whole. I then began to dabble in countless topics. Game development, web development, hardware and software, DNS, cryptocurrency, various programming languages, virtual machines, database and full-scale server administration, and app development, to name a few. Who would have thought that by playing video games as a child, I would go on to learn these crazy in-depth things about computers? So, how can my passion contribute to the world? To directly address the question, A, it can contribute to the world, and B, through creating, more websites to make the internet more accessible to those in need, by developing new technologies to make lives easier, and by creating solutions to once unsolvable problems. The list goes on and on. So while video games may not be the most productive passion in the world, they've inspired a desire to learn about technology like no other teacher. Never have I had a more valuable teacher than video games. Also, if you were curious, this is my Steam account. It's worth about $1,500 as of a couple days ago. That's all video games, 137, half my collection. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Discussions are open. Thank you.